You maniacs! You blew it up! Oh, damn you!
A blue dot is circling around a blazing yellow star, and if you're far enough away, you might take it for Earth. It has the right size and a lot of water, but there are also 2 moons, and it is the second of 7 planets that orbit the star Cell. Welcome to the tier of Cell, Celtara. 150 years after the Great War and the Sundering, humanity has clawed its way back to a global civilization. New rules and old cultures define the lives of 1 billion people spread all around the world. Above the myriad of smaller nations stand 5 major powers who compete for control and influence. Telesia, the tribes of Junka, the Free City of Haven, Lomang in Manangra, and last but not least, Pelos. Let's have a look at them, starting with the top dog, Telesia. Telesia emerged after the Great War as the dominant power in the world, thanks to Sam, the super AI who preserved humanity's knowledge and technology. After 100 years at the top, Telesia has it all: power, technology, wealth, and a massive ego. To keep it this way, Telesia possesses the most modern army in the world, including the peerless Immortals, which, let's be honest, are not only totally rad, but the very last thing you ever want to face in battle. Most people in Telesia live in high-tech cities with free social services, great security, and an overbearing surveillance state. Getting citizenship in this near utopia is extremely difficult today. Ask the 30 million people who have only a work permit but no voting rights. Beside the cities and their urban areas, most parts of the massive continent have returned to a natural, untouched state, with forests flowing from the lowlands over the hills up to impressive mountain ranges in the middle of the continent. Here we can also find another special of Telesia: active volcanoes, which threaten to darken the skies and to bury everything under a thick layer of ash. Moving on quickly to the tribes of Junka. To understand the tribes, you have to understand Junka first. You have to understand the desert and what it takes to survive in a land that is as demanding as the Great Mother. Besides the desert, savanna, and rocky mountains, the north also features some thick jungles, including insects, illnesses, and about every poisonous animal you can think of. In general, every tribe is centered around the capital city, and their size can vary between a few hundred members to millions. New tribes are born every year and vanish just as fast, but the 8 major tribes have been around for literally millennia. While their culture is one of the oldest in Celtara, the tribes today are in no way less evolved and technologically capable than the other great nations. They value honor and loyalty above anything else, and they are in a constant struggle with each other. Every man and woman in the tribes learns to fight from childhood on, and if the tribes would ever find a way to unite, nothing could stand in their way. Something Lomang would never allow to happen. What a perfectly natural segue to talk about Manangra and Lomang. Manangra is the largest continent on Celtara with the widest spread of climate zones. In the south, at the border to Junka, you can find jungles and deserts, while further north, plains and massive swamps take up most of the inner continent. Beyond the swamps exist large areas of tundra which stretches on for hundreds of kilometers. After 1,000 years of occupation and slavery, the people of Menangra have used the destruction of the Great War to finally gain back their freedom. Since then, they have started to rebuild their ancient empire with frantic fever. Ruled and guided by their absolute monarch and driven by the fear of the tribes and other aggressors, Lomang has grown faster than any other nation. The nation is steadily spreading from west to east over the giant continent, only slowed down by corruption, crime, and a cumbersome bureaucracy. But don't be fooled by their internal problems. Lomang is held together by a powerful sense of national identity. Even their crime syndicates try to further the position of Lomang in their own unique ways. And this brings us to Haven, the largest city in the world. Located between Chalesia and Junka, 150 million people are squished together on a singular island trapped amid steel, glass and concrete. And for some reason, more still want to go there. Giant container ships feed the massive hunger of the island by day and by night, bringing food and raw materials to the island and deliver manufactured goods to the rest of the world. Haven is made up by districts and zones, from the painfully poor in the north to the stupidly rich in the south. While the first live like sardines and toil their lives away in giant factories, the others build artificial waterfalls and domed jungles for their enormous skyscrapers. Talking about compensation. Crime exists in all parts of Haven. In some they are part of the natural order, in others they wear fancy suits and dance on balls for the next mayor's election. And then there is the Outland, the most northern part of the city that was abandoned by the officials and taken over by warlords. They treat the population as cattle and fuel for their endless battles for supremacy, and are in cahoots with the pirates. Time for a change of scenery. Pylos. Ah, Pylos. Gurgling brooks and endless fields. Trees gently sway in the wind, and cell's softest rays kiss the world awake every morning. Hills and dales flow on and on in an endless melody, and the people who come from this land are so completely different. The Courier is the single most competitive society in Celtara. Faster, higher, better is their core motto. They dream of glory and are willing to do whatever it takes to rise to the top. From childhood on, they are drilled to compete and to excel. It does not matter what you do, as long as you are the bloody best at it. And that can also be seen in the houses of Pylos. Imagine a corporation, but at its core it does not aim to make money, but to achieve a vision. To be the first, to be the best, to achieve fusion, to feed the world, to rule the world. Wait, scratch that. How did this get into the script? Anyway, Pylos might be smaller than the other superpowers, but they make up for it with pure determination and recklessness. Beyond the major nations, of course, exist many smaller ones. Singular islands or island groups working together, all with their own culture, identity, agenda and history. Their voices might be smaller, but they tell as many stories as the big nations. And this ends our short journey of Celtara. And what about Karak? We do not talk about Karak, and neither should you.